This morning again, and just thinking, there's that Bible verse, I give you the authority to trample on serpents and scorpions. And I think that it's a misunderstood verse, a misunderstood passage, because, it's funny, like, so much truth and so much of the reality of things is hidden in plain sight. Like, it's all there, but you have to have the ability to interpret it and see it for what it really is. But it's there. And when I hear that passage, I immediately think of the situation that we're in now. And in my opinion, two of the biggest problems that we face, two of the biggest adversaries that we have, are the beings that you would call the reptilians and the insectoids. Like, I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot, and there may be tons and tons and tons and tons of other aspects and elements to this grand stage play that we're all taking part in. But I know for a fact that those two beings happen to exist. I know for a fact that those two specific species of beings are responsible for a lot of the mayhem, the madness, the suffering, the depravity in this world. They're responsible for it. And I know there are probably, there's hundreds probably of different types of species and subspecies and beings and different densities and different etheric modalities and all this stuff. But, like, I know that those beings exist. I have seen them. And more often than not, when I found myself in certain situations, it was one or the other that I was always facing. Reptilians or insectoids. Like, it always came down to either one of those two. Like, it's not, speculation, hyperbole, like this, it was always that. I have seen people shapeshift physically in front of me, and they were reptilian. I've seen people shapeshift too, and they were other things that I couldn't quite put my finger on. But reptilians, there's a reason. There is a reason that constantly is a bell that's always rung. Some people think it's like a meme, or it's like, no, it's like there's a reason why people are talking about this. There's a reason why these beings keep coming up. It's because they're the ones. And what I really think is, I really think that they're probably more like the brute force, the worker element, they're like the ones that, like the controllers, but they're not truly the ones in charge. But they're utilized and spread out as a control force, as a, they're like the ones that police us. I think you go up higher, and it's definitely a different type of hierarchy, but they're on that totem pole. Trust me, they are on that totem pole. And I think that is one of the main issues, one of the main problems that we're having to this day. And, man, we can get into, like, speculation over, are they all good? Are they all bad? All the experiences I've had have been negative. Extremely negative. And let me tell you something about reptilians that I've noticed, that I've seen, that I've experienced. It's like they are associated, like their being, their entire being is associated with negativity. That is how they exist. That is what they contain themselves in. That is what they seek. That is what they're obsessed with. Negativity, low vibrations. It's like, you have to call a thing that is what it is, what it is. You know, you can't like skirt around that. And I'm sure that there are some exceptions to this, but like, man, it's like they're obsessed with violence, they're obsessed with sex, they're obsessed with all those lower aspects of existence. You know, like they feed off of it. They're always there. So I mean, that's the problem. That's one of the problems we're having. And this isn't a new problem. This is a problem that has been in play for a while. You go back to like old texts. That was the problem in Atlantis, people. That was the problem in Atlantis. Atlantis existed. It wasn't a mythical fairy tale island that just, you know, that Plato just talked about. No, it existed. It was a real place. Very similar to Western culture, America, actually. Very similar. And Atlantis fell not because of, you hear people talk about, you know, different, they go into like different versions of it or whatever, and they'll say, oh, Atlantis fell because the technology was too complex, or because, you know, they had technology they didn't quite understand. Like, no, I can tell you why Atlantis fell. Atlantis fell because Atlantis was infiltrated. Atlantis was infiltrated by the same beings that are using infiltration to accomplish their means today. History repeating itself. It's like a loop, over and over again. Atlantis got so bad they couldn't tell who was who. Atlantis was a place of like, it was a place of higher vibration, of like technological superiority. Like, it was very, 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 very advanced. And it plunged into moral decay when these beings infiltrated. That's why Atlantis fell. It was so bad that they had a word that was used. They would bring up, they would go and get people together. And if you couldn't say that word, like, or if you said the word and you started like changing, they killed you. It was that bad in Atlantis. Like, straight up. That's how bad it was. And we are finding ourselves in that exact same situation because we're dealing with beings that utilize infiltration over direct brute strength and brute force. If you're curious, like, just look to something like the Emerald Tablets. It's there. It's clearly defined in that text where it stated that these were beings who took the semblance of man. But when their true form was revealed, they were serpent-headed. Sounds a lot like parts in the Bible. Just saying. This is nothing new. We've been dealing with this for a very long time. And one of the aspects of the great revealing is them being shown for what they really are. That's when the fireworks are going to start, folks. When they can't hide anymore. When they can't shapeshift their way the hell out of things. That's when this thing is going to get really crazy. Anyway, I just felt to start the day off by talking about that. Hope you guys are doing good. Take it easy.